Fernando Cornago is the Senior Director of Platform Engineering at Adidas. I had the pleasure of meeting him 3 years ago when he presented with Marcus Rottert, his VP, about the group of rebels who were bravely seeking to create a better way of working inside of Adidas. They had regular meetings at this place called Café Intención, where they made and executed their plans, eventually leading to a meeting where they pitched the CIO at 10 p.m. at a leadership offsite, which led to the creation of the platform team. He will be presenting with Ben Grimm, Senior Director of .com, who drives the product vision for the e-commerce channel that generates billions of euros of revenue annually. They will be presenting on the continuation of the Adidas journey, including being responsible for one of the 23 board-level initiatives and how they're educating people across business and technology on creating world-class practices to help them win. And so, by the way, I was so inspired by this story. Whenever in the Unicorn Project you hear about the dockside bar, that is indeed modeled after Café Intención. Fernando and Ben.
If we can see things for what they are, if we can see what they could be, if the plastic we use, we never throw away, if the end of one thing could be the beginning of the next. If we know that less can create more. If we can return, we reciprocate, we regenerate. If we are here for others, if we can work as a team, all we have to do is connect, and the world opens up. The future is about giving back.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us with me. So I'm Ben, and with me today is Fernando. We are both working at Adidas. And so thank you, Gene, for having us today in Las Vegas. It's so exciting to be here, and also thank you to the whole team for the organization. So as you have seen in the video, we at Adidas, our core belief is that through sports we have the power to change lives. And to do that, the best way to do that is to build one-on-one relationships with our consumers, and digital helps us with that through premium, personalized, and connected experiences across all our touch points. So in the last years, we have seen premium experiences and new enhanced experiences coming up across the whole industry, especially around the sports industry. So our target groups, they have high expectations towards experiences, right? Across touch points, very individual, very personalized. And we just opened our flagship store in London, which is the best retail digital experience we have ever built so far. So when you are at the next DevOps conference in London, you can definitely come by and have a look. It's really amazing. So about 2-3 years ago, we had a good, would say, basic online store, no app outside, but today it's a different marketplace. And the opportunity and the potential is endless beyond 2020. So today we talk about our platform strategy, our latest progress. So Fernando can give you all the insights, and I will talk more about how it enables our business and our growth and how we achieve the targets with that. And overall, how we transform that $22 billion euro net sales company towards a future-ready digital company.
Thanks, Ben. So hello, everyone. Good morning. So it's a pleasure to be here in this crazy city for the first time in my life. So my name is Fernando Cornago, and I'm heading up the platform engineering practice for Adidas. So we are, as the team topologies will define us, so we are at the same time a platform team providing self-service platforms to our engineers, and an enablement team, so helping them learn into good practices and the usage of our platforms with the final goal of making them autonomous. So my relationship, as Gene said, with this fantastic community started like 3 years ago. I was the lead of global software development. We had an horizontal development model for Adidas, and I came to London looking for inspiration, right? And I found it. So I need to thank especially Jason Cox, Disney, because he made me see the light, right? So I came back directly to our small German village, Herzogenaurach, where we are focused. and where our founder was born 70 years ago and he created the company 70 years ago. He was born much earlier, right? And basically, I started a couple of meetings with different technical leaders in different departments, and we were meeting in a small bar. We call it Café Intención, and our goal was to convince our CIO and our business leaders that software and new practices should be really taken in Adidas in order to make us successful. We were successful, and I was talking about that last year. And this year, Jean asked me to talk about culture, strategy, and how to bring our business together. And that's why Ben is here with me this year, because he's the owner of our biggest, fastest, and most profitable store in the world, our .com. So basically, we go every day to the office with really wanting to change lives through sports. But basically, software is changing sports. So not only how we practice, nowadays no one is going running without a smartwatch and then setting the activities with the friends to gamify the experience, but also how we consume it. We are in the US, so watching an NFL game right now is a full experience of real-time stats, probabilities. It's amazing, right? So are we a software company? Definitely we are not. So all our revenue comes from physical products on the different channels. But we need to start behaving like that, like one, because we have more than 2,050 million lines of code in our code repositories that are accessed every day for more than 2,000 people. So in a new world where we push product ownership to our business because we are organizing value streams, what is the role of technology? Right? So for me, it's having the best engineering practices to provide speed at the right quality. So sustainable speed in the long term, but really speed to succeed and fail and change our way. Right? Especially us, because we saw from the state of DevOps from Nicole this year that retail, where we are in, is the only industry that correlates directly with top performance in IT. So we are there or we are dead. And how do we do that? So we go DevOps by default. So that is the strategy. No one is challenging that. Not all the teams are there, but we go DevOps by default. And we define DevOps, and also inspiration coming from my first year here, from, as Jess Humble said, with the word CALMS, standing for culture, automation, lean, measurement, sharing. And basically, this is what we use for every single one of our activities, as you will see later. And then it comes to platforms. So can we do DevOps with a monolithic architecture, with a commercial off the shelves? Definitely, you can do some steps. But there are certain capabilities of the platforms that needs to be there in order to boost and help the teams to go easy or easier into DevOps journey. So basically, the platform needs to be on demand and self-service. And ideally, you want to run them up and down on automation, command line interface, SDK, API, you name it. They need to be scalable and elastic, so they need to scale up and down depending on the needs, and ideally based on your observability in an automated way. And you need to pay per use. But it's not the platform team who is having the budget. No way, we don't want that. We've seen a lot of times when infrastructure has grown like hell and no one knows what is there because the teams using, they are not paying for that anymore. So the teams will pay for what they use of the platform. Transparent and measurable observability is key in two directions. So the application team needs to know what is happening in the platform real time. And the platform team, for us, it's good to know what is happening in the team. Because sometimes we think that the platform is up, but the applications are not. And last but not least, open and inner source, not only by by using open source by default, but just by opening the platform to the community, so they feel part of it, right? So you open your backlog, but even if you don't have capacity, you open your code for others, so they contribute into the platforms. And how all these technical things fit into our strategy. So we have a pretty focused CEO globally, Kasper Rosted, and he has ranked our more relevant projects up to 23. And I have the luxury of running one of them. That is the Digital Tech Foundations. And as you can see here, Digital Tech Foundation is helping all our core digital initiatives on dark gray. So from digital commerce of how we sell, and the team of Ben is dealing with that, how we engage our consumers and membership programs, how we deliver in an omnichannel strategy, and how we create end-to-end digital creation. That is super cool because it's like the meta lead time, right? So by us shortening the lead time of the software, we are enabling the company, our business, to create physical products faster, because we create directly digital first, and that is helping us relate in our relationship with our factories and also with our resellers, our wholesalers, our B2B business. They don't need to see the product anymore in order to sell them, right? And that the fact that this initiative is more relevant is super cool. We are in Adidas, we make our revenue for physical products, as I said, right? And we need to present this to our board every 3 months. And it's helping us in 2 directions. So we are educating the board in things like automated testing, make data easily consumable, continuous delivery, a number of bills, quality. And at the same time, this is forcing us to really link everything that we do. In the bottom of the engineering of the core of the engine room of the company, we link everything with business results. So with direct money, if possible. Okay? And you can imagine that there are a lot of funny conversations that we have with these business leaders. And sometimes that we can struggle in explaining why quality is important and why different capabilities are important. But then we realize what we are doing in the platform is not that different than what Adidas started doing 70 years ago, and what has helped our company to be successful during all this time in a leading position of the sporting goods industry. So we call all this the Adidas digital platform, and it's nothing else than a set of capabilities that, working together, allow our teams to go faster. And let's start by ODP, Open Digital Platform. That is the compute part. So it's when our interactions with our consumers happen. So if you go to one of our stores, seeing a big queue is super frustrating, right? Wouldn't it be cool if the store assistants will pop up when the queue grows and will pop down when the queue disappears, even going up to 0? So this we can do thanks to our more than 29 Kubernetes clusters and now with serverless capabilities. Wouldn't it be cool also if these store assistants are popping us whenever the world we are? So we need to be closer to our consumer. And nowadays, for Adidas, the main focus is North America and Asia. I come this weekend directly from China, and if you want to be in the forefront of digital retail or Industry 4.0, you go there. So the direction has changed. So it's not global now pushing things to China. It's global learning from China. So we have now, for this, we have Kubernetes clusters. Our platform is spinning up in 5 different regions of AWS. And last but not least, wouldn't it be cool if these store assistants are popping up at home when you cannot leave? So this is why your platform needs to run on-prem for these applications that they cannot live on-prem because of data confidentiality or mainly data gravity. And data, you heard in the former presentation, so all the innovations that are coming in the present and the future will come for getting access to the data and play around with it. So we generate gazillions of data from our product design, manufacturing, supply chain, selling, delivering to the consumer. And accessing quickly to this data is key. So we see the data as the bottom on a relay race. So the runners are a small DevOps team, and they need to be fast. But the 4 fastest runners not always win the race because the handover needs to be smooth. Okay, this we achieve thanks to our global streaming and API strategy across the globe, where thanks to smart contracts between the different teams, you can access the data from other teams quickly, and it's cataloged in our data portal. And at the end, where all this data is flowing, because it's flowing automatically to our big data platform. There is when we leverage all the power from our hyperscaler, AWS, so our data science can play around with AI, ML, deep learning, where our normal algorithms cannot get. So a lot of technical pieces, right? And we said that we are working on this to bring value to our business. And nowadays, building an app is putting together a set of pieces of a puzzle, and they need to work together at a certain point in time. Exactly like American football, right? So the team has a purpose, a vision, a goal, that is the touchdown. But in order for this to happen, the different players need to move at a certain point in time to make it happen. For this, we use our implementation of Jenkins on steroids, I would say. So basically, we use Kubernetes to spin up ephemeral master agents for the different teams. So they are fully independent to install plugins and run on their own. The platform team only provides the backup, connectivity to our systems, and security. Deploying continuously is nice, but you want to deliver something that is working, analyze the user. And this testing obsession we get from Adi. Our founder was a pioneer in going to the field and testing with at least our products. And we do the same, so we need to test where the consumer is. So our automation testing platform is also spin up across the globe. Basically how our product owners right now, physical product owners, they test our products with automatic kickers and so on. Same concept with test automation for robotic process. For this task on the back office on our global business centers that they are not making us different from our competition, we use UiPath also on a scale. And last but not least, observability. No one wants to see a sport without a scoreboard. When I go to see my kids and I don't know who is winning, it's not the same, right? So basically, you need to know what is happening. So we use the same approach with data we use for metrics. All our metrics, traces, and logs are cataloged, and they are put in an operational lake, so they are accessed by other teams. So whoever wants, they can access teams from a dependent metrics solely from a dependent application. Technically, all this is cool, but nothing will work without people. So people is our biggest asset, especially in engineering. And basically, a platform is as successful as appealing is for the teams. So they need to feel that they are part of it. And this is why you need to boost community, you need to boost training, you need to boost a lot of activities so they feel part of the game. And if there is something that I feel proud of after all these 2 years of journey, is the community that we have created. Right? So Adidas code you can see in our t-shirts. So we started with no engineers 4 years ago, and now we have more than 300. And we are now doubling this number by opening up new centers in Colombia and in India. We have more than 150 events a year, with even one day where every single engineer of Adidas is in our headquarters for an internal conference with internal, external speakers, hackathons, everything. And we have a smooth onboarding. Every single technical person joining the company comes to Spain, where currently 70% of our engineers are, and they build an application end-to-end. In the last 2 days, they built an application when in the past, it took for us even 6 months to get it to production. Right? But most important is that they meet all the different responsibles of the platform, so this community is built forever. It's the most important thing on the onboarding. And then culture. And this is I'm not anyone here to talk about suggestions, but this is what I do and what I apply is applying your company culture in everything that you do. So I come from different companies, and I will have never done this in different companies, but in Adidas, we did that, right? So we were in the monthly meeting of all the directors of engineering, struggling because we have everything, a DevOps maturity framework, all the accelerators, everything, and we saw that some teams were not progressing as we wanted for them to progress. But we hate top-down mandate in engineering, but also even more in Adidas. In Adidas, you put a rule, and someone is jumping. So basically, we said, in Adidas, we like competition. Let's open a cup. So basically, the only thing that the team needed to do is say where they were and say they were wanted to be in 9 months from them. Only condition is bringing these people. So bring your product owner and tell us also how this has brought business success to your team. Amazing. So the participation was 220 people applied for it, and every team received a mentor. And the cool stuff is that they receive a mentor from a different team. So both the mentor and the team receive fresh perspectives of a different vision of the world. Now the winner, that is the mobile team, you can see in the ceremony where we are giving the gift, they are doing a world tour around all our different headquarters, China, US, Russia, to really spread the word. The adoption of the platform and the best practices grew like hell. So we have more than 10,000 Kubernetes pods running now as I speak, and more than 116 projects in our software delivery lifecycle metric tool that is taking metrics from all the different tools, Jira, Sonar, Bitbucket, and Jenkins, and then creating metrics for the team to improve. And even all the critical teams are using Chaos, our chaos environment, and DevSecOps in their life cycle. Golden metrics, so deployment. So the teams of Ben, they went from 6 weeks to deploy basically whenever they want. The mobile team, on a cycle time of a campaign, it was 3 days with lengthy emails, long meetings, and now it's a button for the product owner. The consumer service team, from 26 outages a quarter to 0. And all thanks to improving their DevOps practices. And business value. So it was amazing. So the Adidas app team started with 7 people. They reported like 3,000 minutes free for working in real features. They scaled the teams up to 8 teams, and they grew the revenue by 5 times during the time of the DevOps Cup in 9 months. The consumer service, running on Salesforce, Adidas was pushing Salesforce and challenging Salesforce on the integrability of their code, on the testability of their code, etc. And they turned themselves from being a cost center into a value driver. So turning complaints into business opportunities and into conversion for our e-com. The product creation, so for me, it's a perfect example of the platforms over platforms. So we provided them with the platform for compute, for data transfer and APIs, and they built an operational data lake for our product creation. And they are an enablement team, so they have a goal to disappear. Now they are disappearing, and they are pushing all this information and all this ownership to the teams. But at the same time, last year, they already saved $500,000 for this company, a team of 6-7 people. Or the Store Associate Mobile, providing mobile applications to our store assistants. They really grew adoption multiplied by 10 because of trust, because being able to deliver fast and in a secure way. And even they reported that they saved a good bunch of trees. That is always good for sustainability if you save paper.
Thank you, Fernando. So I take the next couple of minutes and talk about how does it accelerate our business, because as Fernando already said, at the end, it's all about speed. So we see this as a competitive advantage to invest into the platform to get it at speed. So looking back around 3.5 years ago, so Adidas came together and created a new company strategy called Creating the New, where one initiative out of that is the platform, but in general, there was a very strong agreement in investing into digital. So where we are at the moment. So 2018, from that 22 billion, we had 2 billion net sales revenue from digital channels, and we would like to double that by 2020. So the expectations are high towards the technology and the growth. So back in 2016, 2017, sounds like a long time ago, but it's just 2-3 years. We started with a very basic shop, and we had no app. We did not work in social. We did not do good email communication and so on. And now we have more than 100 engineers working on the experiences across our portfolio and ecosystem. And here it's important to say that when we set our objectives and key results for the quarter, we want to stay flexible in how we achieve our outcomes that we set for the quarter. And the platform and the teams give us the flexibility to populate teams across the most important initiatives. And they can change by quarter by quarter. So it can be maybe a new app. It can be a new experience to sell exclusive products to our target group. So it's faster time to market, as teams don't need to focus on building basic capabilities like monitoring, reporting. Scaling and performance issues were a problem in the past, so we don't really see that anymore based on that platform. So it's easier to scale. We have around 1 billion, talking about .com, 1 billion views a year on .com, and we see the improvement in the cycle times and and lead times around the development cycle overall. What is important for us is the quality as well. Especially when we go into the holiday season now, with 11/11, the Singles Day in China, which is bigger than Black Friday and Cyber Monday together. It's a huge day for us. Plus, obviously, end of November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. 35% of our business is in Q4. So usually we don't really think about that, right? Sports, summer, spring, but we do the main business, especially in digital, in Q4. And when you look back into the numbers, imagine you do 4 billion out of a 22 billion net sales. It's getting very significant in the last 2 to 3 years. So at the beginning, if you have hiccups and you lose some money because you have incidents, that's kind of acceptable and you need to work through it. But with these numbers now, we need to have a very strong and solid platform in place. So there is no choice. We need to invest into it. And I'm so happy that it's a board priority. So DevOps helps us with site speed. So based on the platform that Fernando just talked about, we created a new headless e-commerce architecture based on APIs with a new front end. And we increased our load times from around 4 or 5 seconds to below 2 seconds, which is a very strong driver in conversion rate. So we did that last year. So our conversion rate overall in the shop raised by about 10%, which was way better than every other feature, just by improving the site speed. No new features, no new products, just site speed, which were very successful. So you can see here, for example, the drop end of last year. Last but not least, we want to create premium experiences for our consumers. So here are some examples we did in the last weeks and months. We see now the return on investment of the platform and the headless architecture. It takes some time to get there, which is very important to be consistent in the transparency and the communication towards the board. But once you get the return, it's very nice. So I have an example here. The first one is a feature that we just launched on the product listing page where you can buy inside of the product listing page directly. You can add products to the cart. So the imagery is head to toe, and you can click on an image and you can basically buy every product that is on that picture. The second one, another example which goes in a different direction, is all about how do we release products? How do we tell the stories? You can see here the photography is larger. It's all about the stories and setting reminders to inform the consumer when the product finally drops. Also, core commerce feature, the third one, around checkout. Sounds pretty boring, but it's a huge conversion driver. You do it the right way, and a very complex beast. So around the globe with different carriers, different payment methods, different risk management, it's getting very hard. So we just released our new checkout in the US 1.5 months ago, 1 month ago in the UK, and this week Germany. We're really looking forward. So we see really significant improvement in the cart to order conversion rate. And the fourth example, it's all about telling the stories on the product listing pages. So for us, it's very important to do it there because there's the consumer. The consumer is not on campaign landing pages and other pages like that. They are on the product listing pages, they are on the product detail pages. And here, for example, for the product Stan Smith, we tell the stories directly in the product listing pages, which is very important for us to do so. But what I just showed you, as you know, it's maybe good now, but it needs to be good in the future. And we need to continuously invest into the platform. And what is next? Fernando can talk about what is next. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince. And I will need to. Okay, and I'm going to rush a little bit because it will not be the first time that I'm kicked out by this man from the stage. So basically, what is next? So DevOps is never done, but the teams are already too progressive or too in the game to really create another DevOps Cup. So basically, it's a proposal coming from one team. We are creating what we call DevOps Maturity Incremental Index. So we have a checklist of 70 things grouped in development, observability, product, architecture, culture, process, and with different maturity steps from crawl to run. So now what we are asking the teams is to report monthly on which or how many points have you improved and how this is bringing business value. And we as a management team, we only need to review every quarter and moving something from run to walk, something from walk to crawl. So what is good today, maybe it's not as good tomorrow. Aspiring engineers. So our role in a future of IT, in an engineering-based organization, is to have the best engineers. So we have created a progressive framework for learning. So each team is cataloging the technical skills that they need in the different levels, and also the trainings to get there. It's good for the Adidas engineers, they know what do you expect from them. They know what are the skills more hyped or more needed in the company. And they have people to help them get there through mentorship or through even job rotation. And it's good for the companies because we can even declare future skills. Okay, AI, ML, things that maybe we don't have very extended, but we will have in the future. Gamification, you see this man, right? So he doesn't like our teaser, so he's not very enthusiastic about this. And also, we are a little bit tired of the black. So we have created a complete new internal platform for gamification, where you can get stickers if you are good in different technical capabilities. Streaming, security, Kubernetes, serverless. And you get 1, 2, or 3 strikes depending if you are good, if you are very good, or if you are even teaching others and contributing. You get these stickers, and if you get enough amount of stickers, basically you can get more colors, white T-shirt, or even hoodies. Right? This is also working like a charm in Adidas. And last but not least, what's the next big thing? So we want to copy the DevOps Cup and create next year the AI Cup. So we are upskilling all our engineers in the next 6 months in AI, ML. So next year we can launch, thanks to our product owners, an AI Cup company-wide. I hope to be here next year telling to you. And that's it, yes, perfectly on time, Jean. You cannot say anything. And I hope to see you next week.
Thank you.